Jeepers Creepers is a nostalgic film for me. It was made during a time where I found films and shows to have a certain realness and passion behind them. But of course, that doesn't make it a work of art with no shortcomings. Jeepers Creepers is the story of the point of view of two siblings, Derry and Trish Jenner, who are driving back home to their parents from college on a desolate countryside that stretches across Florida for spring break, as they play a fun old game of be the first to name that license plate.
Gay fever. No, gay forever. Gay forever. Ha, that's mine. That's 3 for little bros.
That's a 6, not a G, you idiot. That's sexy forever. That's mine. That's 5 to 2.
Sadly, this fun is cut short when we are first introduced to our main protagonist, who comes barreling down the road in his rust bucket, which for all intensive purposes has a turbocharged V8 engine that almost rams Derry and Trish off the road until they manage to let him pass. Shaken up by some of that classic Florida drivings, they become nostalgic of a tragic story of two students who died on the same road with their heads missing. Of course, due to their current predicament, remembering such things doesn't exactly help with their mental state.
They found the car. Didn't find him or her head.
God, look at me. I'm still shaking. When I first heard that story, I used to think this was the highway I would die on.
Like the cheery thinker today, aren't we, sis?
They continued down the road, sadly only to spot the creeper again, but now parked next to an abandoned church, where it seemed he was unloading something that looked a lot like a body and throwing it down a large pipe. Sadly, they were driving slow enough for the creeper to be alerted by them. And get into his rust bucket just to ram them off the road again.
What the hell's he got in He's got it souped up or something.
Now, let me ask you guys, under this situation, what would you do? A, mind your business and keep going like nothing happened. B, go get help, like fire rescue and cops, to help arrest and help anyone who might be injured or hurt. C, or go back alone with no backup to snoop and confirm your suspicions with the help of your sister, holding onto your legs as you crawl into the large pipe, only to get spooked by rats, flail like a fish, and fall down the pipe, only to be laying next to a guy who is dead or dying that could have been saved if you went and got help first.
Stop it. Get some help.
Sadly, our characters chose the latter. Or in this case, C. Derry now found himself in the Chamber of Horrors. Derry finds porcelain-skinned, embalmed bodies lining the walls stitched together, with a ritualistic table in the center. And if that wasn't enough, he also found two classmates that disappeared back in the 1970s, with their bodies preserved and their decapitated heads sewed back on. At this point, Derry knew he had to get out fast. After some time, Derry made it out and got back together with his sister in the car. Trish drives out in silence with Derry, who looks overwhelmed with shock and fear of what he's seen. They manage to find a diner and park as the rust bucket makes its way back down the road to the church. As they urgently go inside the diner and ask for anyone who can to call the cops. Out of the blue, a payphone rang and Derry picks up, and we are met with an old woman who seems to be having visions of the horrible things that the creeper has done and attempts to inform Derry that she saw him in the creeper's house of pain and to beware of a song that has the lyrics "Jeepers Creepers." The cops arrive and hear Derry out. Even though finding the story to be a bit hard to believe, they still went ahead and sent officers to check out the church. Unbeknownst to them, the patrons of the diner witnessed the creeper sniffing Derry's dirty laundry from his car.
The man there at your car. He was standing there at your car, sniffing that laundry. Looked like he was liking it too.
Our siblings are now being escorted by the cops to the police station. On the way, the cops overhear from their radio that the church is on fire. Sadly, the officers didn't even have a moment to doubt the two before the creeper lands on the cop car and decapitates both. The creeper then throws one of the officers' heads at Trish's car to startle them. The creeper then begins to have a spit-swapping makeout match with the head of the officer that he decapitated. Afterwards, to stop and throw the body parts into the back of his rust bucket. But that does beg the question. So the creeper was driving, maybe tailing them in his car since they left the diner, and at some point maybe put his car in park or coasted behind them to Superman jump onto the cop car in the first place? Food for thought. Anyways, the siblings go jetting off in a panic in their car until they found a house that is filled with hundreds of cats, but only one crazy cat lady, who doesn't have a phone and wouldn't call the cops even if she did, since they don't like her and her cats. Derry suggested to leave, but they stayed and wasted enough time for the creeper to catch up to them and pretend to be a scarecrow, which was apparently enough time for the cat lady to grab her shotgun and start blasting. Sadly, blasting only caused the creeper to Superman jump into her house and lure her inside by fucking up her cats. She runs in quickly and dies just as fast. Trish and Derry get back into their car to attempt to speed off as the shifter sticks, and the creeper jumps onto their car and does a backflip and sticks his landing, like any Olympic flipper or pupil of karate. The creeper toys with them until he gets clipped by the car and then ran over 3 times to see the creeper attempt to open his now deformed wings to fly away as he fails and lays there. Now, if this was me, I would have taken some gas out of my car just to light him on fire and cremate his ass. Now, at least that to me would feel like I'm finishing the job, because I'm not sure if running him over really does the trick. The siblings drive off to the nearest police station to report the whole incident, only to find, to no shocker, that the creeper is still alive and kicking, as he, with broken limbs, begins to break into the jail cells at the police station and kill and suck on some inmate to rejuvenate and regenerate his body. In this, our siblings meet the woman on the phone who is an out-of-work psychic called Giselle, who has been haunted by her visions of the creeper and warns them to come with her if they want to live. Or, one of them will be taken and killed, but Trish is too skeptical, and they waste time to where there's no more time to escape. The siblings get cornered as the creeper starts smelling and licking siblings, until he decides that Derry is too damn delicious to pass up, and that he couldn't get enough of just smelling Derry's dirty laundry and wanted the whole poo-poo platter, as he then throws Trish out the door. Now the cops come, charging in equipped with all assault rifles, shotguns, and personnel left, only to watch as the creeper holds on to Derry as he is choking. Now, what really grinds my gears is that in this scene, the cops don't even try to fire a shot to take down the creature that took down multiple men and women already. Now, I'm not saying shoot Derry, but the creeper isn't using him as a shield, and is leaving most of his body and his entire head out in blasting range. Yet, not one of the cops fire a single bullet, when literally a second ago, it was a shooting gallery. And in this shooting gallery, they were shooting at nothing. Literally, someone accidentally nudged their flashlight and they opened fire. But now they have a target to actually shoot at and save a life, and they did nothing. So Trish tries to barter her life for Darius as the creeper screeches and spreads his wings in the span of minutes, as the whole time the cops are aiming and not firing. The creeper then flew the coop and went to his newly established house of pain, where sadly our boy Derry gets his eyes taken by the creeper. And Trish needs to explain to her parents what happens the next day. And Giselle, who then feels at a loss, simply says she's a crazy old woman. She doesn't even understand why she tried to help in the first place. But that is the story of Jeepers Creepers. Now, this film was directed by a Victor Silva, which of whom has a decent rap sheet of movies, acting, and court verdicts. But I digress, since I can't forget about our main two characters, the handsome Justin Long, who at the time was around 23 years old, who went on to be in other decent films such as Idiocracy and Dodgeball. And don't forget about the gorgeous Gina Phillips, who was around 31 years old at the time of filming, who went on to create films such as Love and Debate and Dead and Breakfast, which I hope to be reviewing later on in the future. Either way, I like the premise of the story, but somehow found myself stupefied by some of the stupid decisions made by the characters in the film. Aside from all of that, it's still a really good film, which is why I would give it personally a 6 out of 10, even though closer to a 5. Thanks for watching.